It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Tuesday morning. We're going to have some fun today, and then we're not going to have fun because Tuesday's, of course, an unfun day. And before the end of the next hour, you'll be enjoying some unfun facts, or you'll be dreading some unfun facts with us because that's how we do it on Tuesday. It's the runt of the week. Every day has an identity except Tuesday, so we've labeled it Unfun Tuesday. Just deal with it, okay? I don't have time to answer questions. I got to get to the top 5 and 6.
You said runt, right?
The runt
Okay,
of the
runt
week.
of the week, yeah.
The runt of the litter.
Got it.
Monday, we all know what Monday is. It's, Monday, got to get back to work. Wednesday's hump day. Thursday's the weekend for professionals. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the weekend. What's Tuesday? It's the runt. It's the run of the litter. We don't love it any less. We just wonder if it's going to make it. That's all.
All right.
That's all
Makes
I'm
sense.
saying. You know what? Let's learn. Let's find out together in real time. If we make it through the day, it's time for your top 5 and 6. If you, like me, struggle every Groundhog Day watching Punxsutawney Phil be manhandled by those bastards in those top hats, those Monopoly characters, well, good news. PETA would like to see Punxsutawney Phil retired to an animal sanctuary. PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, are saying, hey, you know what? It's time to get over this whole thing. Let's stop with the groundhog, and instead, let's have a weather reveal party, complete with
Jesus.
a weather reveal cake.
Yeah, thanks, Peter.
Because, like I said, watching those guys manhandle a groundhog and literally come within an inch of their lives every time because they're handling a groundhog and it's trying to scratch their throats out. I guess we don't have anything else to do in a day. PETA, listen, love the idea. Relax. It's a groundhog. It's a thing. They don't eat the groundhog. They don't chop it up. They pick it up. They wear their top hats. They're all drunk. The groundhog thinks we're ridiculous. It's good for everybody.
I think so, too. Yeah, PETA, so you know, if you're in the PETA group, and I got a feeling you're not listening this morning, but if you are with PETA, I'm not hoping for Armageddon, but if it happens, we're eating you first.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah.
That'd be such a nice. I mean, no toxins in those flanks. In those
grass-fed.
shanks. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it'd be amazing. They say if the PETA says, look, if you guys get rid of Phil and you put him in a reputable animal sanctuary, we'll provide a giant vegan weather reveal cake every year. If the inside of the cake is blue, 6 more weeks of winter. If it's pink, there'll be an early spring. And if this happens, millions of Americans will throw up on their own shoes. So PETA wants a weather reveal cake. As long as we're talking about what we want, I would like a taller set of parents, a time machine, and to have already been inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Okay,
All
that's
right.
what I want.
Check.
About as likely. Number 2 on your top 5 and 6, Wendy's. Good old-fashioned hamburger joint. Wendy's, the fast food chain, is messing with me for the next few weeks because they've announced, they're partnering with the Girl Scouts of America, the Girl Scouts of the USA, I should say, that's the technical name, to put a new Frosty into the mix. The new Frosty milkshake type of thing, the Thin Mints flavored Frosty.
Ooh, that sounds good. So now I don't have to add my own peppermint schnapps
Exactly.
to the Frosty. It's already in there.
A Thin Mints Frosty, which tells me, and I'll come clean with you guys, that means I'm going to Wendy's soon.
Yeah. I'll definitely try that bad boy. They don't have the Frosty VIP club anymore. You used to be able to get that. You put it on your keychain, flash the little Frosty, and then you got a free, like that little mini, a shot of Frosty.
Sure.
But I want the full thing. I'm going to get, I don't know how big do the Frosties get. I want a big one. Yeah, that sounds delish.
I don't know, but I get Thin Mints every year, and I go back to the days when you would rip open the Oreos or the Chips Ahoy, and you have the cookies in rows, and everybody's got that perfect amount between the thumb and how many can you fit into one hand with this amount of milk? And I only do that now with Thin Mints. I don't eat other cookies too much. I'm not really a sweets guy, but when the Thin Mints come out, I will eat an entire box watching a movie without thinking twice. So Wendy's, screw you. This is the last. This is the last thing I need.
Well, I guess complete this experiment, Girl Scouts with the Thin Mint Frosty, or experience really. Wendy's employees will be standing outside of Walmart to harass you into buying one.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I'd love it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Number 3 on your top 5 and 6, the Utah Hockey Club. As a reminder, that's an NHL team in Utah, and that's what they're called. The Utah Hockey Club might be sticking with that name for another season. They have said this is just a placeholder till we get the official team name. They've applied for copyrights for 6 potential names, and all 6 names were refused by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Board. Here are the names they applied for. The Yeti.
Boring.
Also the Yetis, plural.
Yeah.
Blizzard.
Taken, Dairy Queen,
yes,
for sure.
Outlaws, a band with a good couple tunes at least.
Do they not have Google in Utah?
Mammoth, the Utah Mammoth. Mammoth Cave comes to mind down in Kentucky.
Yeah.
The Venom, the Utah Venom for a hockey team.
Well, hey, we can't look down our nose. We're the frickin' Wild. That's like poop telling vomit. It stinks, you know. You can't.
And then, but there's one more. Simply HC, which I guess I assume means hockey club. It could mean any number of things. But all 6 were initially struck down. To which I say, hey, Utah Hockey Club, welcome to my world. Find me a band name, and I'll get to work on your hockey club name. No wonder you can't. It's impossible. Everything's taken already. But these are really bad. The Blizzard, the Yeti, like the Yetis, I get. The Yeti, like our team is representing one abominable snowman.
What famous outlaws are from Utah? I'm blanking.
Well, I don't know, but I did a comedy bit many years ago, since lost, about Utah serial killers. The number 1 state for serial killers. An outlaw isn't a serial killer, right? But, I mean, I'm reaching there. But, I don't know.
Depending on who you talk to, Brigham Young ain't got the greatest reputation.
Right?
I'm just saying. I mean, throw that out there.
You watch Primeval?
Not yet. No, it's in the, what do they say? It's in the queue. It's on the list to watch.
American Primeval.
It's supposed to be pretty intense.
Yeah.
All right, number 2 on your top 5 at 6. Sound the alarm. Our junk is out of control. According to Stanford University, the human penis is growing at an alarming rate. In just 30 years, the average erect penis has grown 25% in length. Or
to 10 inches?
From 4.8 inches to 6 inches. That's just in 30 years. Recent studies do show around the world the average penis is growing. And by the way, there's some genetic reasons. That's a natural thing, but that's not all. Because apparently the next wave of plastic surgery is going to involve more penile implants. The momentum, they're saying, by the year 2100, the average length could be up around 8.5 inches.
Okay.
As men do, because men are the guys developing new technologies for this, doesn't seem like they're thinking about what that's going to do to the ladies. Because a lot of women aren't really ready to accommodate 8 and 9 inches. Let's just say it what it is.
All right.
This will be yet another hurdle to pregnancy. Fertility rates are down. Giant schlongs ain't going to help. Trust me. They're saying there's going to be smaller penises will likely be more attractive in the future because they're more likely to father children. That's going to be the ultimate flex. I can't help but be turned on when I see you, and I'd like you to know I don't have any children because, well, you know. It's just going to turn into, it's just all awful. But
just built for pleasure, right?
That's exactly it. There's going to be advancements, not just for the sake of procreation. Wireless internet technology can make pleasure more accessible with Bluetooth-enabled penis. They have a chip. They can put it in your penis. It makes you get more sensory information during sex. Who needs more? I mean, my God, aren't there enough? Isn't there enough sensory information flowing already? If you added more to my penis, I would explode. I'm just saying. That'd be
it would be a problem, being gainfully employed and just being a productive citizen of society, I think. Yep. We'd just be a lot of porn stars. Besides, I don't think guys are preparing themselves for women. I think they're preparing themselves for their AI girlfriends. Those robots,
God.
You just, right. I mean, you can just put in, those AI gals, they can take it. I understand.
Hey, listen,
I read an article.
And I do want to say this. Speaking of really, really large penises, good morning, Waconia.
Oh, yeah.
Well-hung Minnesotan. Great to have you with us this morning. If you're in Waconia, man, have a great day. I mean, I know you're gonna. You start the day feeling pretty good about yourself. Mm-hmm. We're happy to have you with us. Number 1 in your top 5 at 6. Timothy Chalamet will be performing at the Mankato Event Center on April 4th. No,
now that
wait.
would sell some tickets.
No, hold on. I'm sorry. No, it's not Chalamet. It's actually Bob Dylan. He's bringing the never-ending tour back home. This will be his first home state gig in 6 years. Wow. The Mankato Event Center. This is per his socials. There's not been the official announcement yet, but it's on the list. Bob Dylan, Mankato, April 4th. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there that I'll probably be at that gig because I don't know. I'm thinking, how many times am I going to see Bob Dylan? And I've been saying that for 15 years, but I'm going to keep going as long as I can. So there you have your top 5 at 6. All right. Remember the early 60s? The Soviet Union it looked like they were about to put a bunch of missiles, thermonuclear missiles on Cuba, right there, 90 miles off the coast of Florida. And JFK was like, hold on a minute with your missiles. And they had the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it was all crazy, and he was on uppers, and everybody was losing their mind, and it all went away. Well, Great Britain just went through the same thing. It wasn't exactly missiles. Here's what was going on. The British Navy, through sensors in the water, heard underwater Russian drones dropping off devices. Those devices, the British Navy believed, were to track the UK's nuclear subs. So, the United Kingdom, they got nuclear subs, and now the Russian Navy is dropping drones in the water to be able to track those nuclear subs. And the Britons were like, whoa, hold on a minute. We heard this several times. The Brits started to freak out.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you know, and then...
It's on, man.
And then apparently cooler minds prevailed. They brought in some extra analysts to listen to the sounds they were hearing, and then they realized, oh, I'm sorry, those are just whale farts.
I love it.
Whale fart. So the answer to the age-old question, what's a whale fart sound like? Apparently it sounds just like a Russian underwater drone designed to track a nuclear sub.
Oh, all right. Well, we do have this exclusive audio. I could see where they might make that mistake. That was a wet one. I guess they all would be, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean... This is exactly how I feel every time I load up on plankton.
Sure. Well, the sounds, the lullaby sounds of the songs of the humpback whale, interrupted occasionally by a plankton-heavy, gassy diet. So all is well. Listen, we're not going to war with Russia. Not today, anyway. Not because of the underwater drones. But, however, the word out of 10 Downing is the British government is trying to figure out how to wipe all the whales off the face of the earth. So at least something's going to come out of that.
Now we have an excuse, right? And we're not using their blubber for makeup anymore. So who needs them, really? All that whale watching. You sit out there for hours. And, was that a tail? I think that was no, that's a boat. But whales have been around for a while, as I recall. All right, and they've been farting for a while.
Yeah.
And I believe the UK has had themselves a navy and subs for quite a long time. I'm just, why is this coming up now?
All I know is this. I mean, the coral reefs, it could be a climate crisis. It could just be whale farts that are ruining our coral reefs all around. I don't trust a whale as far as I can throw it. That's me.
Sports history with the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Oh, let's look back. It's January the 28th. On this day in 1996, Super Bowl, whatever. Cowboys over Steelers, 27-17. Sorry, Zep. It was a tough day for Steelers fans. Dallas Cowboys, last time they mattered at all. That's the good part about looking back on this game. They have sucked ever since, and we can all appreciate that.
You mean the Steelers?
No. The Steelers have got a ring since then. Several Super Bowl appearances. The Cowboys haven't even been to the NFC Championship since then. Weird game. Larry Brown, a 12th round draft pick, was the first cornerback ever named Super Bowl MVP. He had 2 interceptions in the second half for the Steelers. At the time, the second most watched TV program in American history behind the final episode of MASH. Yeah, the Cowboys and the Steelers in 1996 still mattered.
Yeah. What a couple of interceptions and what talent he showed. Both of them hit him right between the numbers, Neil O'Donnell. And I think that second one, there wasn't a Pittsburgh Steeler on the field yet. I mean, he just went out there and just chucked it right to him. Neil O'Donnell threw the game. That's O'Donnell.
Yeah, he's retired in great wealth ever since. Jerry Jones knew how to get that win secured. I don't know what you guys were doing that day. I watched that game at a party in Rio de Janeiro at Page and Plant's Hotel.
Wow.
Yeah, that's me too. Were you there? That's weird. I thought, your hair was longer.
Enough, it was the second straight Super Bowl Sunday I spent with Page and Plant in another country. A year earlier in London, this game in Brazil. And I'll tell you right now, when I first bought a drum kit as a kid, if you had said, regardless of what else happens, you're going to watch a couple Super Bowls internationally with Page and Plant, I would have been like, oh, okay, let's do that then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a
weird
thing.
I know. I just watched it with Eric Webster. I got cheated.
I look
Sorry, Webby.
Of all the weird things, I'm like, wow, that's weird watching football games with guys like that. And they would just sit around, would you like another Caparina? Yes, I would. I can barely stand. Boy, they make a lot of strong drinks.
What the hell's a Caparina?
I don't know. It's one of those drinks. It's capybara or a Caparina, however you say it. It's either a weird Amazonian mammal or it's a drink that'll just put you sideways. But listen, in Brazil, they know how to drink. On this day in 1959, the Green Bay Packers hired the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. His name was Vince Lombardi. Kind of a big deal. 9 years. He only coached the Packers for 9 years, but he won 5 titles. And the last I checked, that's still pretty darn good.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on 92 KQRS.
Oh, I was just trying to get my facts straight. Unfun.
Unfun.
Not fun.
Not fun, not fun.
Entirely unfun.
The KQ Morning Show presents
Unfun.
Facts.
Let's begin, shall we? Shall we?
Oh, we shall begin. Tuesdays are unfun around here, and I'm going to start you right off with one that my mind is spinning. The world record for constipation. The Steve Gorman record is 4 or 5 days of hell.
Oh, man.
Absolute hell. On tour, I called it Roadblock.
You got to get yourself some Coors Light.
The world record, however, 102 days.
Holy is that possible? I mean, wouldn't you die or something?
Me personally, yes. I would die after 11, 12 days tops. One human being went 102 days. I got to think that there was 2 things involved. 1, an iron will, and 2, a cork.
Yeah. I mean, I at some point, man, if the laxatives aren't working, if the Coors Light isn't working, you've got to, get the pencil out, as they say.
Man,
102 days?
That's the time. You know what I would do? I would take someone up if they have 102 days of constipation. Go up with a tandem life parachuting situation.
Yeah,
and have the instructor that they're tied to about 5 seconds after coming out going, "Uh-oh, we got a problem." And tell me if that doesn't take care of business.
Do you want to be that instructor?
No, God, no.
Right? They're strapped to the back, if you remember. I'm just
that's a very
saying.
good point.
Yeah, put a big diaper on them.
Here's an unfun fact. The Wizard of Oz. Remember that movie, 1939? Good. Real entertaining.
Oh, those slippers. Yeah, thank God we got them back. Yeah.
We got them back. The Cowardly Lion costume was made out of an actual lion's skin.
Uh-oh, PETA. Here comes PETA again. They're pissed.
Man, holy smokes. Can you go retroactive? PETA shows up to picket outside MGM Studios? That'd be amazing.
They didn't have a lot of the materials we have today. They had to go to the real thing. They probably just had lion skins lying around back then.
Here is a little something that I call an unfun fact for sure. And that's that the 7 castaways on Gilligan's Island, created by Sherwood Schwartz, were modeled after... What were the 7 castaways modeled after? The 7 deadly sins.
Oh.
Really?
Gilligan.
Is that what that movie 7 was about?
There was a head in a box and Brad Pitt as the dumbest detective ever.
Hey, Skipper!
Gilligan represented sloth. The skipper represented anger. Thurston Howell III, obviously greed.
Yeah.
Lovey was gluttony.
Well.
Ginger, please, lust. The Professor, pride. And Mary Ann's 7, what's the last remaining sin? Mary Ann was envy.
Oh.
What was she envious about? She was like the most balanced, she was the most functional, normal person on the show.
Yeah, except in real life. However, that's not how... in the show, supposedly, Ginger was the sexy one, and she was always sitting there with a bit of a grimace. But none of us young men ever bought that. And when I say young men, I mean boys. There was plenty of Mary Ann fantasy. I wouldn't choose. Let's just get the thriple going.
No, there's a time in your life when you realize Ginger's out of reach, but hey, I'll deal with Mary Ann. And then at some point you realize Ginger might well be in reach, but Mary Ann would be more appreciative. And then, it's just the algorithms change as we all get older. We know how this works.
That's how we figured it out.
The mascots on kids' cereal boxes, like, say, Tony the Tiger on your Frosted Flakes, they are drawn so that their eyes are looking slightly downward, always. And that's a trick to make sure that if the boxes are up high on a shelf at the grocery store, the mascot is making eye contact with kids.
Oh, creepy.
And you thought we just liked the taste. No, we felt like Tony the Tiger understood us all along.
They're great, man.
They are great. The Michelin Man originally was drawn with a glass of champagne in his hand, and he was called the Road Drunkard.
Okay, then. Road drunkard.
Not all progress is good. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that clearly wasn't the kids' cereal marketing team working on that one.
Crazy drunk driver.
Very different group of marketers there. And how about this one, finally? Before penicillin, if you found yourself with a case of syphilis, there was one thing that could be done. Doctors could intentionally give you malaria. Because malaria would give you such a high fever, the thinking was, well, this will kill off the bacteria that causes syphilis. The only downside was that there was a damn good chance it was going to kill off the person with that bacteria that causes syphilis as well.
I mean, I hold doctors in high regard, but we know one thing, that there would be terrible gamblers, weren't they? They couldn't guess for shit back in the day. I mean, now they've got science and all these advancements and technology working for them, but back in the day, we've had so many of these on Unfun Facts, they were just stupid.
Fighting fire with fire. I guess what that means is there was a time in Western society when if you heard somebody had malaria, you went, oh, dirty dog.
No, seriously, it was a mosquito. Yeah, it was.
Is that what you call her, a mosquito?
Mosquito bites.
There are your unfun facts for the day for Tuesday, January 28th. Hey, you remember that scene in A Christmas Story? Speaking of unfun, when Schwartz triple dog dares Flick to lick a frozen pole. Just let's go back for a minute to when everybody had good nicknames. Anyway, Schwartz says to Flick, hey, a triple dog dare to lick a frozen pole. And then the kid goes up, he puts his tongue on the pole, and then it immediately is stuck and frozen to the pole. And I was part of the first generation of Christmas Story viewers to be traumatized by that, and then to also drunkenly go, oh, I wonder if that would really happen, and then dare myself, but never go through with thinking about it. I did think about it at times, like, I mean, seriously, would your tongue really get stuck to a frozen pole? And of course, the answer is, yeah, it would, you idiot. I mean, let's not do this to ourselves. But anyway, we've all seen that a million times, and we've probably all had the thought, oh my God, what could be worse than that? What could be worse than having your tongue frozen to something? If you've got a thought on what could be worse, feel free to share it with us. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. What's the thing you would least like to see frozen? Let me just go ahead and cut to the chase. And by the way, photos and video to prove what I'm about to say is real. Police were called to a town in Alberta, Canada, Fort McMurray. This is 250 miles north of Edmonton.
What?
Which is 250 miles north of anywhere you never need to be. I mean, Edmonton's
circle,
up there.
Man. Yeah.
This is 250 miles due north of Edmonton. Fort McMurray. There's a place called the East Village Pub and Eatery. And a couple weeks ago, January 12th, first responders were called. There was a patron. He was a drunk, an intoxicated nuisance in the bar. He began arguing with people. There was a dispute. It spilled out into the street. And at some point in a melee where this drunken, antagonistic douchebag had several people trying to quiet him down, fists were thrown, chokeholds were applied, and the gentleman's pants fell down.
Whoopsie.
Uh-oh.
Remember, when you're starting a bunch of trouble in a bar 250 miles north of Edmonton. Wear a belt.
All right, I'm going to make a mental note of that, but only when I'm 250 miles north of Edmonton. Something else has gone seriously wrong in my life.
His pants fell down.
Yeah.
And then he fell down, landing on his stomach.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
His pants fell down. He was not wearing a layer underneath. There were no drawers, no underwear, no unmentionables involved. Police showed up on the scene and immediately caught wind of what had happened. They said, lay down, you're being arrested. They kept him face down, handcuffed him from behind, and then they decided to pick him up off the ground. He wouldn't completely separate because my man's junk was frozen to the street.
No.
Again, I'm going to tell you, there are photos and, in fact, video.
Yeah.
And they are trying to lift this man up, and they can't get him up because, again, his junk is frozen to the street. I'll never get over saying that. Basically glued to the ice. Reports, TMZ, of course, first on the scene with the photos. They said the gentleman's privates were clearly stretched out before snapping right back to the ice.
Boing! They went from like a 25-year-old scrotum to a 65-year-old scrotum in just a second. Just wow. Yow. You lost some skin there, man.
East Village Pub and Eatery, home of the frozen tube steak. I mean, they got to make this worth something. People will be traveling in and going, "Hey, man, so were you here when it happened?" And the bard said, "Oh, yeah, I was here. Do you mind talking about it?" No. I'm still trying to process it. My therapist says it's good to discuss what I saw that night in the street, and what I saw is something that keeps me up at night. Home of the frozen Schlongwurst. I mean, what in the world? I mean, but we've all probably seen a bar fight. I've seen a bar fight. I've been in a bar fight.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, and I've seen people go down. But I can't imagine just the talk about a tonal shift.
Yeah.
Okay, Silence of the Lambs. Terrifying movie. We're all watching it. We're all freaking out. It's the grisly topic. And then, boom, all of a sudden the scene shifts and there's a girl singing Tom Petty's American Girl in her car. And you're like, oh, man, what a mood shift that is. Mm-hmm. This is like the opposite. This is going from, hey, it's a bar fight. Put on Tom Petty. This is great. To, oh, my God, Hannibal Lecter just froze that guy's junk to the street. It's just such a slingshot, such a boomerang mood shift. 1 minute you're watching drunk people fight, and the next minute we're all just human beings with empathy and sympathy and horror.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I've iced my nut before when I got hit with the softball and swelled up to the size of a grapefruit. But, not sticking to the sidewalk. By the way, the population in Fort McMurray, because I'm looking at the video, and I think everyone in town was there. 16.
Are you serious?
Population, Census Division, 16.
There's no hiding for this guy. He probably just has to move.
Yeah, well, either that or you're just the frozen nuts dude,
guy.
Right, yeah, I mean, they got one in Grantsburg, I'm sure. Why not one in Fort McMurray? So, yeah.
The town I grew up in Kentucky, there was a dude that sat on the courthouse steps most days, and his name was Bird Dog. And when you would drive past him, you'd go, "Hey, Bird Dog," and he would literally just go, "Row, row, 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 row." He was the town crazy guy, and he barked at cars, and everybody knew him as Bird Dog. This guy in Fort McMurray, way better claim to fame.
All right.
Bird Dog someone just dropped a hammer on his head when he was a baby and he heard a dog bark and that was the end of it probably. This guy, no, you had decades of fully active life. You had plenty of options to make choices that were better. You could have just put on a belt that night, sir, and you'd remain anonymous. But no, you went beltless in Seattle. Isn't that a movie, Beltless in Seattle? You went beltless in Fort McMurray. You went fortless. You went fortless in Belt McMurray. You went beltless in Fort McMurray. You got your junk frozen to the street, and we will salute you forever. That guy should never have to buy another drink.
No, he shouldn't. Not. I'd like to think he started the night with a belt, and it just went downhill from there.
That's what it was.
Belts? How many belts at the bar to lose your belt? By the way, I stand corrected. Thank you, Sandy, for messaging me. Sandy says she's from Canada, and that's okay. We still love you. Fort McMurray is in Census District 16. And then she added stupid. I don't know that you need to get personal. The population's 76,000. Yeah, 76,000. Idiots moved 250 miles north of Edmonton. All right.
They're still all going to go Frozen Nut Guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care that it's 76,000. He will be.
No. I'm giving him my Bob Dylan tickets. Mankato.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Down here.
Frozen Nut Guy does this in Times Square. He's a New York legend.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Fort McMurray? They might change the name of the town. I mean, seriously, Frozen Junk Canada. Why not? Home of the frozen, oh, holy God, help me. What have I done? Something. You got to name a burger after this guy. Or I guess more appropriately, a Frankfurter, a hot dog, if you will.
Like that,
This is the kind, but you know what? This is a normal thing. We go out. It's freezing cold. We're 250 miles north of Edmonton. We get way too drunk, and we stick our junk on the ice. That's just a normal night out. But in 50 years, they might not think that. In fact, there's a lot of things we do right now that in 50 years, I imagine, will be seen as barbaric. Let's look ahead and look back at how barbaric we currently are. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
It's January the 28th. 50 years ago, in America, we were still smoking everywhere. Indoors, in cars, in schools.
Nice.
You could smoke in a hospital 50 years ago, for God's sakes.
It's fun.
It was great. 50 years ago, doctors thought babies didn't feel pain until like 50 years ago. They would, in the 60s, if a baby needed a surgery, they'd be like, open them up.
Yeah.
They're crying anyway. What's the difference?
Yeah.
I mean, 50 years ago, women were still finding it hard to get bank accounts and credit cards on their own. I mean, things change, thankfully. You know what I mean?
Sometimes we take steps back,
I'm sorry?
We're not.
No, I'm just thinking of my daughters right now. Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson, pretty bright guy from way over 50 years ago. You know, one of his famous quotes is about laws, institutions, life. It must go hand in hand with the progress of the human mind. He says, as we become more developed and more enlightened, we've got to change circumstances, institutions. We have to advance. He said, we may as well require a man to wear still the coat which fitted him when he was a boy, as to expect a civilized society to remain ever under the regiment of their barbarous ancestors. What he's saying is, every couple generations looks back and goes, what was wrong with us back then? And 50 years from now, in 2075, what will they be saying about life in 2025? They'll be going, oh, my God, your parents were around in 2025? Oh, they must have been so traumatized by people, using their children to create content on social media so it can be monetized.
Oh, they're good for something, finally.
I guess. That is going to be something people look back on one day and go, so wait, hold on, let me get it straight. You had an Instagram account just for your baby?
Oh, we're doing that now. What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. 50 years from now, they'll be going like, no, that's crazy. 50 years from now, your baby will actually be, it will be brought to you from the makers of Instagram. See, it's going to make that a lot better.
I mean, it's atrocious now.
It is. All right, that's true. We don't have to wait 50 years. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, but it still happens. But I think we'll get clear of now. Just you and I are trendsetters. We're ahead of the curve. But a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? There'll be statues.
The children.
In 50 years, there'll be a statue of Steve Gorman. It'll say he hated those child beauty pageants.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He was
it's
way
cyclical,
ahead of the curve
man.
on that one.
Yeah, you just stay stodgy long enough and it comes back into fashion. It's like my flannel shirts, They're out for, the lumberjack look is out, the grunge is over, dude. Give it about 5-6 years, I'll still have my well-worn flannels, and you a-holes will be buying them off me for $100 a pop. I'll take them down to Tatters and make a crap load.
What do we really think is going to be in 50 years from now? What will people look back and be amazed at? 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. Feel free to call or text. What are we doing now? What's normal now? That 50 years, 2075, they'll go, I can't believe that was still happening. I did see this. An orthopedic surgeon posted, I always think people will cringe at what is now routine. And he writes, Wait, we would put rods and screws into broken bones? What the heck were you thinking? And he said, I'm hoping for some injectable bone-healing bots or some Star Trek device that regenerates new tissue. So, yeah, granted.
Yeah.
But the truth is, those rods and screws, hey, it's the best we got. We got to do something.
Yeah.
We can't
Right.
let you walk around the street with your leg in two parts. We got to drill that bad boy back together.
Did you say this guy's a doctor?
Yeah, he's saying he's the one doing it. Maybe he needs to do it a little better.
Yeah, quit bitching about it and make it better, man. Besides, I love my titanium hockey stick in my leg. I can feel the screws when I walk out in the morning.
Sure you
On a
can.
good cold morning, you can feel all 9 of them.
I've been, I used to do sports talk radio, and people very regularly would say that the NFL was on its way out when the CTE stuff really started getting traction 15, 20 years ago. And I know 10 years ago, there was a lot of conversations about, 40 years from now, football won't exist. And I used to interview players, NFL players, and say, hey, will you let your son play football? And, 9 out of 10 would go, not a chance.
Right.
But then they were in a position where they could see themselves not needing that. I'm going to have a better life for my kid than I had. I didn't play sports to try to, because I didn't have any other options. Like my kid's going to have options. But that's
Poor athletes.
And there was a time when I thought to myself, one day when it all comes out, when, I used to say when we watch a quarterback die on the field, the game will go away. And then I realized one day, what am I talking about? That would boost ratings through the roof. And everyone hates CTE.
Yeah.
It's terrible when our football players and our boxers have CTE, but football's bigger now than it's ever been. The fact that TV has gone to streamers, the only thing left is live sports that everybody still watches together.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a bigger deal than ever. I think in 50 years, if anything, football's going to be all over the world. The Chinese league will be on fire in 50 years.
I'm glad I won't be around for it. Yeah.
It's growing. It's growing. You know what? As a soccer fan, I'm one of those guys, like as Americans, if the American ever catch up to the world in soccer, people from around the world will be like, I can't believe this finally happened. That's going to be Americans in 50 years. It's going to be like the Shanghai Generals have won the Super Bowl.
Right.
We'll be like, oh, why did we have to export our game? Our beautiful game. What happened?
We'll just go back to gladiatorial combat, Let's
Fighting
quit
the
screwing
lion.
around.
Yeah.
Let's just get in there. Yeah, get some lions in there. Actually, let's just have our mascots, but in real life play. The lions will play Viking barbarians.
I like my lines in that one.
I like my Viking barbarians. You keep telling, we got swords. You know what they use in the Unfun Facts. The original Wizard of Oz, the lion, they used a real lion skin because they're easy to kill. All right, give me a spear and you can have your lion.
Yeah, that's very true. A drunk Viking with a couple of axes and swords, much tougher to kill than the average lion right out of the savannah. Come on, man. That lion's actually got a conscience. He's like, hang on, should I hunt this guy or not? Let me get a sniff. Like, no, the drunk Viking? No, I'll kill that sumbitch right now. Good luck to you. Going into the future, 50 years from now, the year 2075, what will we look back on and say was barbaric? And we were talking about football, and we got a series of text messages. Here's one from Bob. NFL football in 50 years will be flag football, but still no Vikings Super Bowl win. See, it always comes
Come on,
back
Bob.
to that.
Bob.
In 50
Probably right.
JD, in 50 years, the Vikings will still not have won a championship. We just can't help ourselves. It's just one of those things. Let's see what else we had. In 50 years, the kids will be too lazy and educated to ever play football. It will just be my robots versus your robots.
I like
game.
a good robot battle.
It's called Rock'em Sock'em Robots when I was growing up. It was my robot versus your robot, except that blue one had the weak chin, glass jaw. Never won. It was whoever was first to the red one.
Is that what it was? It was red was always the guy that would take it on the chin?
I think it was just how it was manufactured. But in our game at the Zepp household, the blue one, glass jaw. So you knew you were a loser when you got in there. But if you could win with the blue one, then you didn't have to beat up your brother as bad.
We didn't have Rock'em Sock'em robots, but several friends did. We knew in the neighborhood. Yeah. Oh, the Hess has got Rock'em Sock'em robots. It was like a thing we knew.
Oh yeah.
And because of the commercials, because of just the simple ad in the Sears catalog, the picture of it, I was dying to get some Rock'em Sock'em Robots going. And I discovered, like a lot of kids, it's good for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It really doesn't last that long, the excitement about the Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Right. Yeah. No, it passed quickly. It ended up in the closet, or in the big bucket, as it were, pretty quickly.
Didn't have the staying power of, say, a Hot Wheels set with the self-propelled little rotors that you put batteries in and keep them moving.
Or Battleship.
Hey, man, Battleship never got old to me.
No.
Always. Any game that could put me on an even keel with my older brothers, I was, that was what I wanted to play. And then I'd kick their ass in Battleship, and then it would be like, okay, it's time to play 21. And then get the basketball, and we'd walk outside, and then I'd just have my ass handed to me for hours. But, all things, it's just, it's all about keeping the decks even.
Maybe that's what they'll think is barbaric 50 years from now. So you guys played war. That was fun. You taught the kids how to play war and shoot missiles and fire at each other with guns. Yeah, man. We're still fighting wars here. Maybe in 50 years it'll seem barbaric, but we're still fighting them. You got to get the kids in the mood. How about this one? I like Shane set this one in. Will it be considered barbaric in 50 years that people are now going out for a full day of shopping in their pajamas? Yeah. You do see a lot of... That's Mom wouldn't let me get, 5 feet from the door in my pajamas. But now it's, you just stay in your pajamas all day and go out. Hell, you travel in your pajamas. A lot of people.
We've had that conversation a lot with the kids. Specifically, my daughter Marley, she'll be walking through the house and I'm like, where are you going? She's like, I'm going to the gym. I'm like, and you're wearing that? She goes, this is my workout clothes. So I go, yeah, but you put something on over it and then take those off to work out. She's like, looks at me like I have three heads. And I'm like, Marley, you're going to be in your car. You're going to be walking across a parking lot. When you're in the gym, that's fine that you're wearing that. But that's not. And then Rosemary will go, but no one cares anymore. I'm like, no that's
one
not
cares
true.
Anymore.
I guess they don't, because then I know, and I noticed too, I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, put some clothes on, ma'am. And I'm like, oh, that woman's my age. Things have changed. All I say is this. In the 1980s, if the average chick walking down the street on her way to the gym were doing that 40 years ago, not 50, 40 years ago, then she would have been the town, hooah. It would have been like, did you see what she was wearing a shirt with no sleeves. Yeah. That's not that long ago. Things change quick, man.
I know, they do. I know. But you don't want me walking outside in what I sleep in. That's some nasty free ball in there and some sweats. So I'm just saying.
I had a shirt. I wore it in the mid-'80s on a regular basis to the point where there were people that probably saw me and just knew, oh, that's that dude in the pink T-shirt. I had a pink, sleeveless English Beat T-shirt that I bought at an English Beat concert.
Right.
That's right.
And I don't mean like kind of pink. I mean hot pink, sleeveless, with the Go Feet dance steps and the dancing chick logo on the front. And I wore that thing proudly. I would go play basketball in that shirt. I'd be like, hey, you got a problem with the pink shirt? Let me light you up for 30. And it was awesome. And I would give anything to still have that shirt. If I still had it, I'd be shocked that it ever fit, first of all. I'm sure that thing is, I don't even want to know how actually small it was. But I looked one day on eBay and saw that very shirt because I just was thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I found one, and it was an extra large, and I was like, and it looked like it had never been worn. And it was like $175.
Oh.
And I thought about going for it. I was like, and then I went, wait a minute, would I actually wear it? Would I actually wear that somewhere? And I was like, I don't think I would. I don't even want to take the chance.
Our T-shirts,
I was astounded that an English Beat concert T-shirt, because where I lived anyway, there weren't a whole lot of Beat fans running around. So, but that's probably got something to do with it. They were popular, but not too popular. And if you look at concert T-shirts, bands with the highest resale value online, the number one band, if you think about it, makes sense. It's Nirvana, because they were huge. But they really, in the grand scheme of things, didn't play that many concerts. They were only a draw for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And if you didn't see them, and I never saw Nirvana. I saw Nirvana before they were huge. I saw them when their first album came out, and I saw them in a club in front of 300 people. But when they blew up with Nevermind, from the fall of 91 to the spring of 94, if you didn't see them then, you didn't have a chance to buy one of those actual at the concert T-shirts. So as big as they were, they didn't flood the market. Right now, if you have an actual Nirvana T-shirt from a concert, you can get, $300 easily. Between $280 and $300 is the going rate. That's the average resale value for a Nirvana shirt.
Wow.
So, yeah, go. But here's the one that shocks me. Number 2 on the resale value is the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Really?
That's the opposite. They played 1 billion shows.
Yeah, no, but they haven't stuck around. They never became uncool. I mean, some people might argue that.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority of people, like my daughter's really into the Red Hot Chili Peppers and all those grunge bands. Although they're not a grunge band, I don't want to confuse them with that. But in that era, in fact, I've been teased a couple of times, going, "What do you know about Nirvana?" I'm like, "Nirvana's my band. Shut up." Kurt Cobain blew his brains out before you were born.
Yeah, right.
And but anyway, yeah. So no, they just kind of hang in there, don't they? As one of the cool bands.
Earth, Wind & Fire is on the list. $235, the average resale value of an Earth, Wind & Fire shirt. Now, I got to think that's old school Earth, Wind & Fire. So, I mean, you got to be going back to the 70s and 80s, right? Not like some recent
Is there a new
tour.
School? Oh, really?
They still tour. Yeah, they still play shows.
Right.
I would, boy, give me that time machine and go see Earth, Wind & Fire in the late 70s. Yeah, I would have dropped $200 back then. I mean, I would have had to steal in it. I would have happily stolen $200 to see Earth, Wind & Fire back in the day. But that's fascinating to me. The number 1 shirt, though, not across the board, but the Grateful Dead has a single shirt from 1994. So that's probably the final tour, 94-95. Jerry Garcia died in 95. There's a shirt they were selling on tour in 1994 that has a large Black Panther on front, and that shirt goes, generally speaking, for over $2,500 when one pops up online.
Wow.
$2,500.
I mean, Don Henley had it right. Deadhead sticker on the Cadillac, right?
That's it. And then there's a Nirvana shirt, the In Utero tour. There's a long sleeve Nirvana shirt that always pulls about $2,000 on the market right now. That's pretty strong. And again, not too many of those out there, I got to think.
I was at one of those thrift shops over in St. Paul, Selby, one of those, they got 3 or 4 of them in a row, and I'm over there with Taylor the Magnificent. We're just sort of, she's grifting around looking for some shirts, and they had a Poison T-shirt there. This is like Poison in the day, 1988 probably. Poison T-shirt looked like it was in pretty good shape, up on the wall for $300. And I thought to myself, what? A Poison? Who would the hell? Or have they been through so many cycles of cool and uncool? And we've heard that song 1 billion times. That now they're just sort of to find an original Poison concert tee, but $300. I just kept staring at it, thinking, I got a couple old Motley Crue T-shirts. I mean, you give me $50 a pop for them. Although both my daughters took my Motley Crue T-shirts right after Sydney looked at me and said, "Dad, you look like a braless old chick. I'll take that T-shirt from you." I was like, "What? It's just a little snug. I'm gonna hit the treadmill." But yeah, they took my black one and my white one.
At some point during the pandemic, Connell dug into a bin. We went to the storage. We have a storage locker, a bunch of stuff in there. Yeah. As anyone does. And I was looking for something specific. I don't remember what, but he pulled out a bin of Black Crowes swag, just T-shirts from the early tours in the 90s.
Yeah.
I've got dozens that have never been worn. Like, you just take one and keep it. And I wasn't going to walk around in my own band shirt because I was too cool for that. But I just have a ton of these shirts from the 90s that were never worn. And he's like, "Can I take a couple of these?" I said, "Yeah, go. I don't care." He started wearing them, and he's like, "Dad, we could make some serious coin. Every time I wear one of these, somebody comes up to me and asks where I got it." And then I said, "Well, I'm not going to sell them. I just have them because they were mine." And then he pulled out a sweatshirt, and it was from Minneapolis. 1990, the first time we ever played Minneapolis, our T-shirt company was based here in Minneapolis. It was called Nice Man Merchandising.
Okay.
And so the first time we came through, we played First Avenue opening for a band on tour called Junkyard, and they had a big bowling party for the band afterwards, a midnight bowling party. I believe it was at Elsie's, not too far from here.
That's right.
And the merchandise company, they whipped up sweatshirts for the band and crew, and it was bowling. It was like, not hoodies, but just regular sweatshirt. And it was the Heckle and Jekyll looking crows, bowling pins. It was like a bowling themed sweatshirt logo.
Right.
And they probably made 48 total, So the band got them, the crew got them. We each got an extra one for a friend, and maybe the nice man. Anyway, you don't ever see those. Nobody has those.
All right.
Mine was worn like twice. It's still jet black. My son put that thing on. He came home that night. He goes, I swear to God, I can get $5,000 for this sweatshirt. Just let me sell it. He goes, Dad, people were freaking out. I'm like, okay, that's great. But, and then, of course, now I'm like, every time he hits me up, hey, sorry, I'm a little short this week. $20. I'm like, might have to get out that damn bowling sweatshirt and just end this thing once and for all. Who
Just
knew?
give him a T-shirt. Tell him to go make some money. He's got to probably wear those. Are they more valuable? I wonder. I suppose it depends on the T-shirt and the rarity, like you were saying. But are they more valuable if they're worn? Because I know a lot of young people, and people that aren't even that young. My freaking sister came here to the Metallica show last year, got her some tickets from South Dakota with her husband. She's in her early 50s. And she was like, I need a concert tee. And I was like, well, I've got a few concert tees here. She goes, no, like a Metallica. So she went out and bought a used Metallica concert T-shirt for like $75. I'm like, you poser. Wow. What kind of... You make me sick. Let me give you a ride of the show. But she found it because she goes, no, I said, why that one? Ride the Lightning. I said, it's classic. Yeah. She's like, yeah, well, it looked like the most worn. You don't want to wear a new vintage
that's very
concert tee. It's got to be a little worn in.
Something tells me when Connell's wearing one, they're like, where'd you get that shirt? He goes, I just found it in my father, the founding member's closet. And it's like, he's just trying to boost his stock. You can find Metallica shirts right now. They're on tour this year. And in fact, 92KQRS wants to send you to see Metallica at Mile High Stadium in Denver this summer, the final 2 nights of their M72 No Repeat weekend tour. For a shot to win Snake Pit tickets for both nights, plus airfare and hotel for 2, text the national keyword POWER to 95819 right now for your chance to win. The top 5 at 9 coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
The Minnesota Yacht Rock Festival any moment is going to announce the lineup for this summer. If we get to it, we'll share it with you. Sure. They're saying today's the day. That's going to be kind of cool. I mean, last year they had a big inaugural kickoff weekend. By all accounts, a fine time was had by all. We'll let you know if it comes in today. We'll let you know who's playing that bad boy. But right now, the business to get to would be your top 5 at 9. 5 stories that we think you need to know. A Texas man apparently is in some real trouble for nothing. Port Arthur, Texas, home of Janis Joplin and to an overreactive chief of police because there's a TikTok video. The root of all evil now is TikTok, of course. A 25-year-old dude posted a TikTok video of himself over the weekend. Now, Port Arthur, Texas had a surprise snowstorm last week. And I mean, like every 50 years they get snow. They got a bunch of snow. And a 25-year-old dad went out and he used his 3-month-old baby, who was apparently bundled up. He took his baby and wiped snow off the windshield of his car with his 3-month-old baby.
Hey, what do we have handy? That works.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure it was funny, and I'm sure the baby, and in fact, the baby is fine. No worries at all. But he posted the video, and a lot of people got upset and said it's child endangerment. And the chief of police says we're considering charging him with child endangerment.
Yeah, Chief Tim here.
We've confirmed that it was a 3-month-old baby. It's a sad situation. So I know a lot of people go to social media, and they're looking for clicks. But it's not a deal where you should put a baby on a windshield.
I mean, if you just set the baby on the windshield and then get in the vehicle and take off. That's not cool. I don't. I mean, but just I'm looking. I see they've taken the video down now. I saw it early this morning. Mom's recording and he's swishing the baby. It is bundled up back and forth on just knocking off some of the snow. About an 1/8 of an inch of snow, I might add.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is because it's snow in Texas. Yesterday, there was the gal. She since took the post down, was under a lot of fire because down in Texas, they got 1 inch of snow. And she said, it's not as bad as the California wildfires, but almost.
Ooh.
Okay, then. Sure.
All right. When did Texas turn into California? That's what I want to know.
This is like a someone in Minnesota in August holding a baby up to keep the sun out of their eyes, and someone freaking out and going, "It was a joke. Relax, everybody." If we, what's the world coming to when I can't use my 3-month-old baby for household chores?
Yeah.
It's like, remember the old Saturday Night Live? New shimmer is a floor wax. No, shimmer is a dessert topping.
It's both.
It's both. This is a baby and a snow brush.
Yes.
Number 4 on your top 5 at 9, Wendy's is calling all of our names. Wendy's, the old hamburger joint. Wendy's, the fast food place. They have partnered up with the Girl Scouts. And oh my God, why are they doing this to me? They have a new Frosty on the menu, the Thin Mints Frosty.
Yes, I approve.
Sweet mashup. Wendy said, look, we all eat Thin Mints frozen. How about we work this into a Frosty? And I say to you, how dare you? Because now I have to find a Wendy's.
Yeah, you do. And we learned yesterday that 13% more likely to get dementia if you eat bacon, a lot of bacon or whatever.
Sure.
Double down, have that bacon double cheeseburger when you're there.
The Baconator, sure, I'll go there.
Yeah, you'll forget all about it, and you'll go back again the next day. I love it. I also like the fact that they're taking this all the way. Wendy's pairing with the Girl Scouts, the full experience. Wendy's employees are going to stand outside of Walmart and harass you into having a Frosty Thin Mint.
That's the ticket right there, man. That's fantastic.
For the kids.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 9, the Utah Hockey Club. Remember, the whole thing was, okay, we're going to call it the Utah Hockey Club, and then we'll give it the real name. Then we'll have a nickname. Then we'll have a team mascot, and all is going to be cool. Or not. The Utah Hockey Club has applied for copyrights for 6 potential names, and the U.S. Patent and Trademark Board has refused all 6 for copyrights. They've said, no, sorry. Now, they're calling this a non-final ruling, but it's a hurdle to get one of these across the finish line. Here are the names they applied for. The Yeti, or the plural Yetis. Guys, I hate to tell you, but more people are going to think you're naming your team after a drink cup than a snowman, than the abominable snowman. I'm sorry, you kind of missed the boat there. They applied for and lost out the Blizzard. Hello.
Yeah.
Dairy Queen on line 1. The Outlaws.
What Outlaws?
The Outlaws haven't sold a lot of records lately, but they probably still have a lawyer out there who's like, hey, wait a minute. No, we're already a band. The Mammoth. I don't know.
Right.
It makes me think of the Mammoth car from Speed Racer, but that's just me.
I spent some time in Utah. They make Iowa look exciting,
That's why this next one kills me. The Venom. The Venom. What is that? Isn't that what they call caffeine in Utah? Venom?
Yeah, it is venom. Absolutely. Straight to hell. 1 cup of coffee and you're smoking a turd in hell. I love making fun of Utahns and this hockey club, although they're kicking ass on the Blackhawks. Who isn't? But, we're the Minnesota Wild. Now it sounds natural. Now you kind of like it. True. Yeah, Minnesota Wild. But there was growing pains there for the first couple of years. We're all scratching our heads going, they have the Cannabis Commission in charge of this deal? What's going on over there?
We've been talking about those extra sweet. They put sugar on everything. Just call it the Utah Sugars.
Yeah. Every other thing there is named after sugar. Sugar House, Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
You got a sugar loaf there. Yeah. So, yeah.
Or how about this? The decaf instant coffee was Sanka, as in Sans Cafe. That the caffeine. That's what. Yeah. How about this? The Sanka, the Utah Sankas. No caffeine here. We're the Utah Sankas. Go for it. The Utah Sundancers. What, Sundance Film Festival? That's in Utah.
For now, last year I think.
Oh, that's right. The Utah Tabernacles. I mean, come up with something.
Tabernacle. I like that. Yeah.
That inspires fear in the hearts of your enemies.
That's what I'm thinking.
It inspires fear if someone wants to take you to a tabernacle choir.
I tell you what, man,
especially if you're in the honeymoon phase. I don't know how to tell them.
Yeah.
Naming a hockey team, it's apparently more difficult or just as difficult as naming a band. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
My brother suggested once that I call the band the Gorman Table Napkin Choir, which was a nice play on words there. It's close enough as long as we're talking about Utah.
Nice.
Number 2 on your top 5 at 9. Depending on your worldview and who you are and what you're looking for, this is either great or horrible news, and that is this. Our junk is out of control.
Well,
Stanford University. There are people at Stanford University who spend their time, their careers measuring penis length, and those people have sounded the alarm. Hang on, we've got a sensor that was tripped on penis wing 6. The human penis is growing at a quote alarming rate over the last 30 years. The average erect penis 30 years ago, don't run, don't walk. The average erect penis 30 years ago has jumped 25% in length, from 4.8 to 6 inches. Wow. There's a lot of reasons this could be the case. But apparently I guess God finally answered the prayers of 49% of the human race and started giving us bigger junk. But there's more down the road for the male sex organ. Automated implants, built-in contraception, and other features could very soon grace the male reproductive anatomy. Such as this. They're thinking about Bluetooth devices they could insert in your penis that gives you even more pleasure.
Oh, I thought you were a douche for just wearing one in your ear. Now you're going to wear one in your penis? All right.
It's. I guess it's a chip they put in there.
My phone just connected to some dude's rod. I'm not sure how I get this off my phone. I'm Bluetooth connected to...
1 minute I'm making a phone call, and the next minute I'm having more. I'm having the greatest orgasm of my life. I don't even know. I was on hold, and I was like, "What's happening to me?"
Ladies, just get an AI robot boyfriend. We'll get an AI robot girlfriend, and we'll all go to our corners and live happily ever after.
They're saying that by the year 2100, the average length could push past 8 inches, and that could be a sizable problem, obviously, for women, who a lot of women aren't looking for 8.5 inches. They aren't able to accommodate, if you will, 8.5 inches. It could be a serious problem for fertility, and then suddenly the tables would turn. The men with the smaller junk would be far more attractive to women of child rearing. But think about that. I need to get pregnant. Let me see it. Too big, too big, too big. Almost, yeah, just right. The little guy that never got any play is suddenly low man on the totem pole is high man on the totem pole.
I mean, this is my life. By the time my dick gets to be the right size, I'm going to be like 90 years old. Not even Viagra will get it up. So go figure. It's just a cosmic cruelty. Another cosmic cruelty on me.
Everything in life, not just drumming, it's all timing. I mean, we've all learned this painful lesson ourselves. Hey, quick morning shout out to Albertville, Minnesota. Albertville, glad to have you with us. You know what to do, Albertville. Go do it and be good at it. How about that?
That's right.
What the hell? Hey, check this out. Your number one story on the top 5 at 9. Timothy Chalamet, recently, of course, an Oscar-nominated performance as Bob Dylan. The real Bob Dylan has responded to that by, well, just doing what he always does, playing 1 billion shows a year. The guy never slows down. The never-ending tour for the actual Bob Dylan will be coming back to Minnesota this year. April 4th, Dylan will be playing Mankato's Mayo Clinic Health System Event Center. First time the man has played in Minnesota in 6 years. April the 4th, Bobby D in Mankato. I'll probably be taking that one in. I saw him last summer right across the line over in Somerset. He was great.
Yeah,
truly
all right.
Fantastic show. I loved every second of it, and I'll give him another chance. I'm going to give this Dylan kid another chance.
Well, take some pictures for me. Take some video.
Oh, I will, and I'll send it to you. And then I'll be like, did you watch it? I'll come in the next morning and go, did you see the videos? Did you watch that? Did you see the videos?
I didn't pay my phone bill.
Damn it. There's your top 5 at 9 for Tuesday, January 28th.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.